it's always good to get positive comments from either somebody you've arrested in the past or you had a dealing with in the past. I've got a couple people I've known, 10 years ago that they'll see me and they'll just shake my hand. They'll come up to me and I just really want to thank you for arresting me because you changed my life. I was going down this path and you arrest me, you treated me with respect, you told me you'd help me if I needed help, and I just, whether they did it for me or they did it for themselves or they did it for the family, they did it, they changed, and stuff like that's always positive.
Hey everybody, this is Josh Robinson with Seymour Stories, and today we're here with Sheriff Rick Meyer, and Rick's going to share a little bit about the Jackson County Sheriff's Department with us. So Rick, can you go ahead and just give us a little bit of history on yourself?
Well, I was born and raised in Jackson County, grew up in Seymour. I went to Seymour High School, and actually in 1988, our Seymour baseball team won the state championship, which was the first state championship in Seymour, actually, and I believe it's still the only team championship that Seymour's ever had. So that's pretty exciting. I'm still friends with a lot of the guys that was on the team. One of my teammates was Todd Pruitt. He's an FBI agent. And the other one was Paul Adams, who's a lieutenant with the state police over in Versailles. So actually, there was three of us there that got into law enforcement, which is pretty neat. Now we all are all in charge of different things, so we get to work together, and it's amazing after 30 years that we're actually working together as different departments, but as one. So shortly after high school, I got signed to play professional baseball with the Philadelphia Phillies, and I played minor league baseball for 4 different years. I was 1 year in Martinsville, Virginia, actually 2 years in Martinsville, Virginia, Spartanburg, South Carolina, and then I finished up in Clearwater, Florida on their minor league team there. So after that, I knew I wanted to get in law enforcement when I was playing baseball. That's kind of what I was thinking about doing. I kind of took a different career path. I was a dispatcher for a little bit at Seymour City. Then I decided to do something. I was getting married, so something where I was making a little more money and, could support a family. So I did something else for a few years, and then I ended up coming back in 2000 when Jerry Hounshell was sheriff, and got on as a reserve here, and I reserved for a few years. Then I applied I realized, this is still what I wanted to do. This was my calling. Ended up applying, got hired, and, worked the road for 11 years, and ended up running for sheriff in the last year's election and got elected. So here we are.
So at what age did you, decide that law enforcement was going to kind of be your thing?
Well, when I think back about my childhood and my high school years, I was kind of like to play the cops and robbers kind of thing. It was a thing where me and my friends, we were driving around and we'd be looking for each other, and I might have broke the law once or twice. I'm not going to admit to anything, but I think it was then when I look back that I knew that's what I wanted to do. But it was really when I was playing baseball in Clearwater, Florida. We were close to a police station there, and I would see the officers in Clearwater, frequently outside our condo there. And I just thought, man, that was something that really was interesting to me. So, after I got done playing baseball, then got hired as a dispatcher at Seymour Police Department. And I worked there for a couple of years, and they never had a hiring process while I was there. And then, like I said, I was getting married to my high school sweetheart. So I knew I had to make a decision where I was making more money and had to, raise a family. So
what year did you start at the Jackson County Sheriff's Department?
Well, like I said, as a reserve, it was 2000. And in 2007, Mark Larman was the sheriff then. And that's when I applied and I got hired then. I worked nights probably for 10 years, and I chose, I had to work nights for a few years because of seniority. Then I could have moved up to an earlier shift, but I just felt like working nights, it was kind of a thrill to me. It was the cat and mouse game that I like to play. And I was out there, trying to catch the bad guys that were out at night too, breaking into stuff or stealing stuff, or, maybe even the drunk drivers. I took a lot of pride in making sure I was out and about and patrolling the roads and trying to keep people's property safe and also people safe that were on the road driving. So I really enjoyed it. I guess I was on the road at night during a lot of time during the manufacturing of methamphetamine in Jackson County. So a lot of that was maybe people stealing anhydrous from the local fertilizer companies, co-ops, and the COVAs. And I spent countless hours just doing surveillance, darked out somewhere, just watching, and had several good arrests out of that. Which catching the guys that are stealing a lot of time leads back to maybe a burglary of another sort. So you get the drugs off the street, maybe the guy's making it, you get possession of the property back to the owners. So I just really enjoyed my time working the road, and
Okay.
that was a lot of fun for me.
So you've had at least one, a bad experience of out there working. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, that was May 8, 2014. I was here in Brownstown. We got a call of two suspicious, they were said juveniles down in Tampico. I was actually talking to another officer, and he was going to go, and I said, no, I'll go. I mean, I just came on duty. It was like a little after 7 at night, and I'd started my shift at 7. So I drove down there, and I pull up, and I saw the two juveniles, and they walked under a bridge. It was on State Road 39. So I parked on the bridge and got out and was looking for them. And I thought I could tell when I pulled up that they saw me and they were kind of hiding. But still, I'm thinking it was just a couple juveniles goofing off, and didn't want the police to see them under the bridge. Probably something innocent, no big deal. But so I was on top of the bridge, and one of the guys was crawling up, and so obviously I ordered him to come up, and I ran his name and everything. He came back as a wanted individual out of Jennings County. So then I thought, oh, well, there may be something more to this, and I had another officer coming from Brownstown to back me up, which it's probably a 7-8 minute drive out there. And while I was waiting, I was looking see if I could see the other individual. As I was doing that, the subject I had in custody told me that the other guy had already ran off, and he took off running, which I thought might have happened, but I thought I would have thought I would have saw him take off running because I could see on both sides of the bridge. And so I was sitting there waiting. I'm looking at both sides, and all of a sudden I turn in one direction. All I can see is a figure, and there was a shot fired, obviously, and I got shot right here below my right shoulder. I turned to get away, get out of the line of fire, and then I got hit in the back, and I ran around my police car and down the road. I could feel the blood dripping down both sides, in the front and in the back, and I'm on the radio telling everybody what's going on. And after I got turned around, I was probably about 40 yards away. I was able to, get it where we were squared up one-on-one with my gun drawn and his gun drawn. And he was still aiming at me. And I shot, I believe twice. And then he put his arm down. He quit shooting. So, obviously the threat was done for the moment. So I quit shooting and kept him at gunpoint. He walked across the road to the other side of the bridge, and I started walking towards him. That's when he sat down, and he threw his gun down and got on his telephone. I could hear him talking to somebody. I think he ended up calling a family member. But what I didn't realize until later is that he walked to the other side of the road because he had a whole box of ammunition. And I think his plan was to go over there and reload his gun. He had a revolver. So then once he realized he couldn't, because where I hit him in the arm, he wasn't able to move one of his arms. He wasn't able to reload. That's why he threw his gun down and called a family member. Pretty much was, knew he was probably going to not get away with this. Mm-hmm. So then the other officers arrived. We all got treated, and me and him both survived. He ended up pleading guilty to attempted murder and got sentenced to 30 years in prison, which is where he's at now. And I came back a couple months later. I had the bullet that hit me in the chest got stuck on the top of my shoulder. We had it removed, and I was able to come back it was the 1st of July, like July 2nd, so within 2 months. And I knew this is what I wanted to continue to do, so I came back and continued working.
Wow, that's that's really awesome that turned out good.
Yeah.
For you, it sounds like there's a lot of things that could have been a little bit different, and
Yeah.
that wouldn't have happened. So.
Well, you think about your wife and kids, and my wife will tell me that she was at Casting Park that night with our kids playing a ball game, and my wife saw I might get emotional here. She saw the EMT take off running, and she knew the EMT, and she kind of made it a joke about, oh, you got to go to work, and but the EMT at the time didn't know if I was shot or who was shot. But it was shortly after that my wife found out, so she had to go. She went to the hospital because they told her that's where I'd be coming, and it probably took me 25 minutes to get there, and so she's waiting at the hospital knowing I've been shot, but not knowing anything else, whether I'm okay or you've been shot. What's that mean? Probably the same thing that I thought. You get shot and maybe you don't make it, but so it was hard on her that she had to wait that long until I got there, and then I got to see her and the kids and talk to them, and everything was fine. So,
well, we don't want to get too emotional, so let's talk about what made you decide that you wanted to run for sheriff of Jackson County.
There were just I saw that a lot of things that could have been done in this community. I took a lot of pride as being a police officer and helping people, and I just felt like I could translate that and to be the leader of the department and be able to help people. I just had a lot of ideas that I wanted to do, and I just felt like I would be the best person for the job, and someone that really cared about this profession, that wanted to do it for the right reasons.
What were some of the biggest issues that you saw when you started?
The drug problem in Jackson County was one of the big issues, and we had to find a way to cut down on the recidivism rate. And I knew that had to start probably in our jail, because this is where I can help them. Okay. When they're out on the street, I can't, other than arrest them, I can't do a lot. I can't treat them. I can't do a lot for them. So I knew once we had them in jail that we had to start doing stuff here at the jail to try to help them, to get them to think differently, maybe to get them where they they felt good about themselves, where they could get out and maybe had a clear path to succeed, instead of just getting out and starting right back to the same path they were at, maybe hanging out with their certain friends, or not having a job, or maybe not even a place to live. So I wanted to start here by helping here. I mean, they had a few programs going on here. We just wanted to make them, I guess, more structured, instead of, it was kind of freelance. And so we structured a lot of stuff here.
Okay.
The Centerstone program that they have here is really good. It's a MRT program, and they have it in a special pod where just those inmates are in that program, and teach them different skills. And then even when they get released from jail, the inmates can continue to go to Centerstone. It's through a grant, so they can continue to go to Centerstone and get assistance. And it's a lot of it's just the way they're thinking, why they choose to do drugs, and maybe give them a different reason to do something, change the way they're thinking to do something else. Just because you get upset, does that mean you have to do drugs? Or just because maybe you got bills to pay? I mean, we all have those problems, but a lot of us don't choose to do drugs. So just try to get them to think, what else can I do to, instead of using drugs, to, fight this situation?
What other things are you doing to help inmates when they leave the jail here not get a ticket back here?
We have a couple different programs we're doing at jail. We just mentioned the Centerstone MRT program. We did a woman seeking safety class for the females. Okay. That was an 8-week class. Turning Point came in. It was 8 weeks. The females had a binder that they had to take and do homework every day, or not every day, but they had to do homework for the next meeting. We had 6 of them graduate. I think 7 started, and 1 of them got released before graduation. So that was a real good class. Domestic violence happens some more than we think, and a lot of people don't realize that a lot of it's verbal. It's not so much the physical domestic violence, which we do have, but it's also physical, or mental. Maybe a guy or girl watching what their spouse is doing on their phone, or talking about who you cheating on me with now, or Why are you talking to this guy on Facebook? That's all ties into domestic violence. So they were trying to help with that. And just to let them not realize that they don't have to put up with that stuff.
Okay.
I mean, there's better options. I mean, you may think he loves you because he's want to know who you're on the phone with, but he's not. He's trying to be controlling, or or maybe they don't let him use the checkbook or stuff like that. Some other things we're doing is we teamed up with the Anchor House on one program where we have bags that we give the inmates that have been here for a long period of time, kind of to help them find maybe a church when they get out, to maybe find housing. We got some deodorants and wash and stuff in those bags to help them maybe make sure their hygiene's taken care of when they get out.
Okay.
And just other information throughout Jackson County.
Okay.
That's one way we're helping. We're starting a program at the Learning Center. That's through the Learning Center, and it's with the McDowell grant. They're going to go to class there once a week for 8 weeks. They're going to get a manufacturing certificate where they can actually use the equipment there at the Learning Center and try to learn, how to use the equipment, get certified. And here in the next week or so, we're going to be talking to the companies around Jackson County, because everybody's hiring. Everybody, is looking for employers. So we're going to have them come here and do the interviews with the inmates before they get released. I think that'll take a lot of the stress off the inmates. They already know they're in jail, so we don't have to worry about that tough question.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been arrested before? Well, obviously I have, because you're here, so they won't have to worry about that question, because that stresses a lot of them out when they go for job interviews. What do I say? Have you been arrested? Oh, here I go. I'm not going to get this job, so I might as well just screw it up now. But they don't have to worry about what they're wearing when they come to interview, because they're going to be wearing their jumpsuits from the jail. They know when they can start. A lot of these companies will assist with getting them to their jobs, so that'll help. So I'm really excited about that program. We got a lot of work release projects going on here at the Sheriff's Department. We're getting them out doing work, whether it's mowing yards here at the Sheriff's Department, which they're out a couple days a week. That's saving thousands of dollars alone just on maintenance around here. They get out and help throughout inside the building as well. They've been to the Red Sky and help them with their mowing and weed eating. We've been to the History Center. We've been out on county roads picking up trash. We'll be at the fairgrounds. We've already been there for a couple times, helping with the barns, the hog barns, and the cattle barns and the sheep barns. And we'll help with the fair coming up next month. We'll be doing a lot more work there. We go to the courthouse, whether it's picking up trash or help them move stuff from one building to another. Or they had the shredding day last month, so they had to move a lot of papers to shred. We're open-minded to a lot of things. So if anybody has any suggestions, we're willing to, take suggestions and willing to help out wherever we need. It's a win-win for everybody. It helps whoever needs the help. It helps the inmates. It gets them out and makes them feel, like accomplishing something. And so I'm all for whatever we can do to help them out.
Is this something that they're excited? Is it an opportunity for them to get out? Or
yeah, they don't have to do it. We ask them, do you want to do this? And I tell you what, you go back there and talk to them, and the morale just inside the jail right now is so high. The inmates, they feel like they're somebody now. They're not just stuck in a cell and forgotten about. And it helps with the jail officers as well. They feel like, they're getting treated like a person, and it's been great. We can go back there right now and we'd probably get hugs from about 20 of them, and they thank us, and they're just really appreciative, and they want a chance. They don't want to do bad stuff. They don't want to be on drugs. They don't want to be thieves. They don't want to be batters. They don't want to be alcoholics. It's just, changing that mindset and making them feel like they are somebody. And that's what we're trying to do. And we're going to keep doing it until we find out it doesn't work. But we're going to, if we can just help one person, that's worth it to me.
I love this mindset of just treating everybody, with that kindness and respect that they do. Where do you think that you got that mindset from? Is it somebody in your past or your family?
It might have been just the way I was raised. I had good parents and two sisters and a brother, so we had a good family. Never had divorced parents, so we were always just one. But when I was working the road as an officer, I just treated everybody with respect. We might chase somebody for 20 miles, and I might have to wrestle with him for a couple minutes and get him handcuffed. But by the time we got back to the sheriff's department, I was, hey man, if you need anything, whatever I can do to help you succeed is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not in this situation again. I don't take anything personal. It's just, people choose to do something, and whatever we can do to help, that's what we need to do. And it doesn't just belong here at the sheriff's department. It's throughout the community, and maybe that's why I've been involved with a lot of volunteer work in Jackson County.
I was going to ask about that. So you've done a few things to help raise money. Can we talk about that first?
Yeah.
What things have you been involved in that's helped raise money for some nonprofit organizations?
Well, in 2017, my wife and I were co-chairs of the United Way Capital Campaign. So that was, I really enjoyed that, going around to the different industries in Jackson County and getting to talk to them. And I got to tell them a little story about maybe something I did. A lot of it I would talk about was the homelessness in Jackson County.
Okay.
I'll tell this story to you real quick. It was funny. The Anchor House came and did a ride along with me one time, and they wanted to look for homeless people. And I kind of was blinded to it, and I thought it was kind of a joke. I was like, where am I going to find a homeless person in Jackson County? Because I just never, I guess, thought about that. And then before we even left the parking lot, we got a call of somebody walking on a county road. So we went, and I started to talk to him, and he goes, well, I don't have a place to live, and I'm just walking. And I walked back to the car with the lady that was with me. I said, you're not going to believe this. I said, this guy's homeless. I said, we haven't even left. I mean, we got a call here, and we already found somebody homeless. So it really opened my eyes to see all the homelessness that was going on. And then, after talking with the Anchor House more, I actually became involved with their board for a few years. So I was part of that. So that was a story I would tell when I would go to the different industries for the United Way. And then also I was involved with the Dancing with the Stars, Seymour Dancing with the Stars. That was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. I have to thank Fred Hines for talking me into that one. It was a lot of fun getting talked into being able to do that. We had a lot of fun with those shows. I was a little depressed once it was over, because it was such a high to be out there dancing. And that was another thing we raised, I think it was over $100,000. So, and then I had a battle of the badges where the police, fire, and EMS played either basketball or softball tournaments. I did for a few years, raised money with that. I've been involved with the Lions Club. So just different things, getting involved with my church. Just, maybe that's why I do that stuff. I just, feel like there's a need to help, and I have the capability of helping, and then maybe the time of helping. So I just always enjoyed trying to help, see what I could do for the community.
I'd seen a video on Facebook from the sheriff's department allowing some people here to celebrate Mother's Day. Can you tell us a little bit about how that came to be, and what it really did for the people that were here in jail at that time?
Yeah. Let me start with going back to who I put in positions around me. Okay. I picked people that had the same thoughts as me, and people that wanted to help, and not just continue down the path of let's throw them in jail. So one of those was my jail commander, which is Chris Everhart. He's been here 19 years as a jail officer. Then I appointed him as my jail commander. He actually came to me and mentioned something about doing a Facebook Live Mother's Day. And I thought, well, that's a great idea, but I don't know about doing it live. So we got it down to where we could just go video and, put it together and make it just a a one piece little thing. It was kind of our thing, it's bad that these inmates are here in jail, but like I said, if there's something we can do to help them, maybe, and that was an idea, they get to say something to their mother, maybe apologize for what they're doing, or just say Happy Mother's Day. I can't wait to see you. And, it was really a good morale thing for the ones that got to do it. I wish we could have had all 240 some inmates be a part of it, but time, it wasn't capable of doing that. But we'll probably end up doing it for Father's Day as well, letting some inmates say Happy Father's Day. So it's just good for the morale. It's good for the inmates. Gives them a little bit of hope, because a lot of them can't see their family. I mean, currently we have a visitation where they can come and visit through a glass, but if you live in, let's say, Indianapolis or further, maybe their families aren't able to come here. And so it was just their chance maybe to just say Happy Mother's Day to them.
All of these positive things that you're doing, do you feel like there's a difference that they're making, or can you give any example of any difference that you see yourself?
As it's a difference, definitely while they're in jail. I mean, you can tell a difference in the inmates. They're respectful to the staff, and you can just see their positive attitude they have, that they think they can succeed when they get out, and that's what we all want, them to all succeed. I mean, there's probably not going to be 100% succession rate, but like I said, if we can help just one, that's worth it. But I'm sure we're going to do a lot better than that. And it helps with the staff too. They all, when the inmates are happy, it makes the staff happy, and it gives the staff it builds their morale up as well, because everybody's treating everybody with respect, and which is how it should be. We get a lot of positive comments from the community, which that helps with our. Everybody wants to hear good things, because as a police officer, a lot of times we just all hear the negative. So when there's people coming up to me or my officers and saying, we really like what's going on there, or I really liked how you did that arrest, because we're putting a lot of stuff on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even news releases and accidents, and so it's just positive for the community. People know what's going on, and positive for the officers and the jail officers, and it's just been great for the whole staff.
That's good.
You mentioned something about a Facebook review that I hadn't seen yet. So
yeah, I saw a review of a lady left you a positive review of you arresting her, and I've never heard of that anywhere, of somebody giving feedback like that in a public forum, and basically said that you treated her with respect from the beginning. She's seen you since then, and you treat her with respect then. And that obviously had enough impact on her life to go and want to tell other people about how you were treating her. And
that's just great. These people are good people. They just make bad choices. So there's no reason to put them down. And, if somebody didn't treat somebody with respect, I'd want to know about it, because I'd probably have a talk with that person face to face. So, we all got to be on the same page and want to try to help people. And like I said, it doesn't just start here. It's the whole community. We all got to come together as one. And, we're going to have, I'm raising my kids here. Maybe you might have kids that you're going to raise here. And, somebody that's not had kids yet, 20 years from now, we want this to be a good community to raise kids. And, I was born and raised here. I love living here, and this is definitely my hometown.
All right. We're going to wrap that up. I just want to say that I personally really appreciate and really love the things that you're doing here in the jail. It's just awesome to see somebody in a position like you put those people first. What would you tell, or can you tell the other people in our community to kind of reflect and do the things that you're doing here, but out in the community themselves?
Well, first, I got to thank people like you for coming in and spreading the good stuff. Without, somebody spreading good news, and the people don't know what's going on. That was kind of the point of our whole Facebook page, was let people know what's going on, be transparent. I may not do everything how you want me to do it, but I'll do it how I felt was the correct way. We're not going to be crooks and do stuff behind your back and try to cheat anybody out of anything. We do things the right way. I can't tell people to go volunteer, but that's, if you just open your eyes and look at all the programs going around in Jackson County, there's a lot of volunteer opportunities available. And, we need volunteers in the community, and, we all have different lives, and some of us are more busy than others. And I just, hopefully the people come and see us at the fair next month, and we'd love to have you come down to our booth and say hi and tell us how you feel. And anybody has any comments, feel free to call us, message us, come here and see me. I'll be glad to listen and hear what you have to say. And if we can improve something, we'd be glad to try it out.
All right. Great. Well, thanks for taking time with us today. And hopefully we have some more awesome stuff from the jail to share.
Thank you.